Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative, and today we are taking a look at beer. Are we allowed to drink on camera? I really don't know. We will see exactly what happens, but this is something I usually don't keep at the house. I don't keep alcohol at the house. I usually leave it for going out. So in New York City, if you know anything about it, expensive. Drinks expensive, food expensive, but moreover, drinks are very expensive depending on the place you go. If you go to like maybe a dive bar, if you've ever been to, I think, Welcome the Johnsons, I believe they do taller versions, I think 16-ounce versions of this for $3 a can, and in New York City, that's an extremely, extremely good deal. Hair of the Dog, another place on the Lower East Side where you can get various beers. I believe a pitcher for $12 during happy hour, where then it normally is $24, so another good deal. But for this, let's just see. You want to save money, you want to drink at home. Is this a viable option? I've heard a lot of people say this is terrible beer, why would you ever drink it? But for me, I don't have that exquisite I'm not like a wine connoisseur. I'm not like an alcohol connoisseur. I don't know the difference. I need to sneeze. It's coming. There it is. Oh my God. It's the allergies. It literally is just the allergies, which is very annoying. Anyway, we're here with this. We're going to do a taste test with Pabst Blue Ribbon. This is one of those beers that you can find for super, super cheap. Most dive bars have it super cheap. Most regular bars have this as their cheapest option. And I would say at the average New York bar, which is considered a good price, this would be about $8. And again, I got a 12-pack of this for $9.99 over at Target. Not sponsored by either Pabst Blue Ribbon or Target. I'm just saying that's where I got it at. So we're going to drink this and they're going to read about the can. It tastes like beer. It tastes slightly, very slightly, what I would say is kind of like one of those malt beverages. If you go on the super low-end spectrum, mostly for inexpensive alcoholic beverages, that would be malt liquors. And I remember when I first moved to New York, I didn't have much of anything. I was living in Crown Heights. I would go to the local bodega and I would get things that were as cheap as humanly possible just so I could have a fun weekend with friends, where that would be drinking things like this or maybe malt liquors before going out to venues to try to pregame. And again, this is something that everybody does. College students, people all over, and people who don't want to spend exorbitant amounts of money on bars in New York. So again, this is something like we'll try. So it's either, if you think about this, there's another one where I think it's like with this little guy. He has like one eye, and it's like, they did the same thing in Washington, D.C., where I believe at the time it was a tall can for $2. And it was like buy one, get one free. So I forget exactly how much it was. I mean, it was like $1.50 a can after, because it may have been $3. But these are inexpensive options. But this does not have the absence of flavor. It does have a flavor, and for some people, that kind of touch of malty-ish, because I don't believe this is a malt beverage. It may be. Maybe a turn-off for our beer connoisseurs out there. But for our people who are trying to save, this is a good option if you want flavor. And is this a light beer? This is the original Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Let me read it to you. Nature's choicest, really, products provide its prized flavor. Only the finest of hops and grains are used. Select as America's Best in 1893. Selected as America's Best in 1893. And here we are in the year 2024. I'm wondering when the last time they actually won that award was. I would imagine it's that, because they didn't update it. Hey, 5-time award winner in 2001 or something, but that definitely didn't happen. It tastes, and if you've gone out, you may relate this. It tastes like kind of going to a dive bar. But for me, I don't say that in a negative way. I like dive bars because you can sit at a bar, You can either go by yourself if you want to. I'm not really the type of person who does that, but if you go with friends, you can kind of just sit there at the bar. You can talk. The bartender really doesn't care. And you're like, okay, just give me another Pabst Blue Ribbon or whatever the inexpensive option is, and you kind of go for it. I do want to bring up the other options that are around. Bud Light, I would say, is a tier above this. You might be thinking, okay, wow, but still, it is a more watery flavored beer, Bud Light, than this, but I think the overall quality is just going to be a little bit better. Another one that I think is about on the same level as this is Coors Banquet beer. I don't mean Coors Light, but there is the Coors Banquet beer, and that's another one that's like very inexpensive, and I don't have one in front of me right now, so I can't directly compare it, but it's like on the same kind of vibe as that, having that kind of little malty flavor to it. And speaking of, let's see, this has 4.7% alcohol. I'm curious, a Bud Light, I thought it was 4.5. Again, Bud Light being a light beer. 4.2 in a Bud Light. One that I've been actually getting a lot of at bars, because I've been asking for the weekends when I go out, hey, bartender, I'm looking to have a beer because I want to be in this social environment, but I don't want a lot of alcohol. So I've been ordering Michelob Ultra, basically almost the wateriest beer possible, but in most cases it has one of the lightest alcohol content. So it's kind of good for a long period, sorry, the allergies, a long period where you're out with friends, you don't want to spend a lot, although sometimes Michelob is not the cheapest option. But for this, if you kind of would just want to keep it cheap and you have almost 5% alcohol, this is probably going to be your option. Again, if you guys can remind me that other brand with like the guy, like one big guy, it's not the Pringles guy, but he looks kind of similar to it. I just remember that being all around DC, and when I came to New York, this was kind of like the same option of that. But I would say on a budget for $9.99 for 12, that's literally under a can each. If you are pre-gaming here at home before you go out, it's a good option. It's a good option to get you where you need to go. And if you are at a bar, it's going to be cheap and it's not going to be extremely low alcohol content. So you're going to get where you want to be at that point too. So for me, the non-beer connoisseur, I would recommend Pabst Blue Ribbon. Oh my God, I totally forgot the ingredients. I'm so sorry about that. So it does say hops, and it does say nothing else. What is in Pabst Blue Ribbon? Let's hopefully think that Siri can figure that out. There's definitely hops. All right, we're going to read from Wikipedia. Pabst Blue Ribbon is an American lager beer sold by Pabst Brewing Company, established in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1844. So 1844 established. 50 years later, they won Best Beer. That's good on them. And currently based in San Antonio. It was originally called Best Select and then Pabst Select, and then and then the current name came from blue ribbons that were tied around the neck until the bottle, the neck of the bottle until 1916, when then discontinued due to the silk shortage. It's a lager beer. It doesn't say what's inside. I am going to actually look at this in real time. How do you spell Pabst? Pabst Blue Ribbon ingredients. All right. Pabst products are brewed using a blend of malted barley and special corn syrup, not high fructose corn syrup, hops, filtered water, and cultured yeast. So there is that little bit of a malt flavor. I don't believe a normal beer has that, but this is kind of like how they're going to keep the production costs low while giving you more alcohol content, and just, overall, it's going to be that cheapest option that you normally get. Again, in your city, it may be extremely cheaper than the options that we have here, but for that $7, $8 price point, it's usually going to be things like the Pabst Blue Ribbon, Bud Light, Coors Banquet beer, Corona Light, those are going to be kind of on that tier. Maybe you have like some local brewing company that you have. Like we have so many Brooklyn brewing companies and Manhattan brewing companies that I love, but I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what their price point is. Usually they're a little bit higher just because they're locally made and they're made with really good ingredients. But yeah, tastes pretty good. I'm fine with it because it does have a flavor rather than the absence of flavor that you usually get with other light beers, because this is not a light beer. Anyway, allergies are kicking my ass right now. And by the way, I know everybody loves the vertical. We're going to keep on trying this out for a little bit, and then we may go back to doing our horizontal videos. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed this critique, this professional critique of Pabst Blue Ribbon, because for me, I think it is just something that works if you're kind of trying to keep that budget low. Anyway, guys, if you have any comments or questions, put it in the comment section below. Don't forget, I'm on Instagram and Threads at M8P9. You can email me at creativenyc2024@gmail.com. Just launched a new Instagram page, creative.ny, where I will be sharing more of my New York-y video clips and photos on there, because I've been posting that on my normal Instagram, and I'm like, I want to keep my normal Instagram full of cat memes, and I want to push all my like New York content onto a more New York-y Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, go and check it out. I'll be filling it up soon. Right now we only have like 3 posts, and that's it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Cheers.